Hi, and welcome back to another episode of the History of Fan Anime. I'm your host, William Chow, and today's episode, I'm going to go over basically some of the experiences that I've had going through magazines and finding out information and finding out things about new animes and new games and that kind of stuff, just by what I would go through and what the experience of going through a magazine. All right. So before I begin, I want you to remember to go down below, click like, click subscribe, and of course the new thing that you have to do on YouTube is you have to go and click notifications, because whenever I make these new videos, then YouTube will tell you that I've got new videos coming out. So then you see that. Otherwise, they don't never appear on the side feed of what new stuff is. Okay. Also, in addition to that, I'm keeping track of all my new videos on a separate database sheet. Again, you can click on that and you can go through and look at all the different various episodes. I'm slowly fleshing that out and putting it into a book form. So as I see chapters that are missing parts, I will continue adding more. And again, if there's any topics that you'd like more information on, or more expansion of, for example, letters or convention stories or whatever, by all means, put it in the comments, and then I'll see if I can put some more episodes of those sooner than later. Okay, so after that, let's go and continue on with today's topic. All right. So basically, stemming from the anime swag giveaway that I just did a couple episodes back, some people are maybe questioning, well, what do you get in these anime swag things, and what will it do for me, right? So basically, what I'm trying to simulate, and I guess it's something that's lost in the new modern era, is this sort of this period of discovery, because you got to remember, in the days that we were doing tape trading and that kind of stuff, we really were in the dark about anime, right? We didn't know what was going on. We didn't know what was coming up. We didn't know what merchandise is, and even if the stuff was out, we didn't know. Probably didn't even know even about it, even when that was out playing in Japan right now, because of the lag time. See, if something was playing in Japan, we would never know about it or never hear about it until literally months, maybe even years after it actually came out, that it actually was out. Okay, so to get, let's say, a magazine or anything that was was published is like life giving, like life sending, because it's like fortunately for me, I lived in a city that has a Japanese video or Japanese bookstore. Okay, we had an Iwase bookstore, we had a Sophia's bookstore, which basically would import Japanese magazines and books and that kind of stuff from Japan on a weekly, monthly basis. Okay, so they'd get huge shipments in all the time of magazine subscriptions and that kind of stuff, and that was so wonderful. Okay, I mean, you may think, okay, yeah, well, because like, for example, if something bad happened to Naruto in an episode you would find out about it literally minutes after. I mean, you'd see the feed on Twitter and that kind of stuff and whatnot, and you literally would know all about it if Naruto had something bad happen. Okay, where back in the day, you wouldn't even know even Naruto even existed. I mean, you would be literally a month, maybe years behind the time before things would ever transpire over here, and you'd never know about it. Okay, so it was literally godsend that we would be getting magazines like actually on time. Okay, or even a month out of like so for example, I'd be subscribing to, let's say, a typical magazine like for example, a magazine like this one here, for example, Animedia magazine, right? It was scheduled to be out on July 7th, okay? And so, even if we got this magazine in August, we'd be like, oh my God, this is like a really current magazine. I mean, even in the day we thought, well, but the magazine's like a month old. But no. This is, for Japanese stuff, this is like wonderful. We'd even love this stuff because it's because even that date. So I mean, even that kind of stuff, we just eat it all up. And that was what the important part about this is, that that the fact that we getting anime news, as it were, in a timely fashion was just the sort of the next big step. Okay, now of course, you think, well, how can you use this magazine when you have to be able to learn how to to read Japanese, or you have to know Japanese. Okay, trust me. All right, I barely passed Japanese 100. Okay, I mean, if it was 33% comprehension and grammar and all that kind of stuff, and 33% vocabulary and 33% oral and spoken Japanese, I would have failed like instantly. Forget it. Okay, fortunately, it was only like 10% oral, spoken Japanese, and all the rest of it was like actual vocabulary, which was great because that's just rote memorization of words and stuff, and grammar, which is just know how to conjugate a sentence and know how to build a sentence and write it down, answer read a Japanese question or whatever, and then write the answer in Japanese. Okay, I mean that stuff is that. So even with that, I barely passed. Okay, and I probably got zero, near close to zero for the actual vocal and that kind of stuff. Just like but no, that's still enough for me to get pick up for example, magazine like this, and just go through it close enough, start recognizing certain characters and that kind of stuff. I know what, like, for example, what Macross would look like. I would know what Orange Road would look like. I'd know what Gundam would look like. So if I see these combination of characters, I would know, okay, hey, that's they're talking about Gundam. They're talking about, and then I'd know enough to maybe photocopy it, help bring it over to my one of my translators like Daisuke or Matt or Fumi or something, and say, hey, I see something about this. You want to tell what it is about or whatever, or sometimes I wouldn't even bother. I'd say, hey, I see it. I see a price. I see some serial numbers going on. It must be a product of some sort. Let's just order it, and I'll get it. Whatever. I'll spend the money. I'll get it. Right. And so this is the excitement and the the new sort of era of discovery that I want you to sort of have that experience of. So as I made these anime swag boxes and that kind of stuff to sort of give you that sort of same experience, and especially for the people who are like newer that haven't experienced this stuff, this is be all brand new to you, and that's perfect because like you going in not knowing what any of this stuff is, right? Like whether it's a game or whether it's anime, whether it's music or whatever, you just don't have no idea what this is. You've never heard the anime, you never heard the game, but all of a sudden you see something that sparks your eye, and I'm hoping that this would be, what you would use to, do some exploration. Now, of course, with the internet nowadays and with with the advent of Google, it'd be easier for you to actually find out and get a sample, hear some track with music, or at least Google on Wikipedia what the heck, for example, what Zillion's about, so you can find out that hey, it's anime that was built off of the Sega Master System light gun. Okay, they made an anime about it. They call it Zillion. Okay, but at least now you can find out that kind of stuff. But at least by looking at a magazine like this, you could you could actually find the origins and find the excitement of it. So in this episode, I want you to go through a couple examples of how something I would have found and how I would have reacted and what I did when I saw these magazines and these articles. Okay, so I'm just picking a couple out of random because I almost did it all the time. Okay, so let's just start with this one here. Okay, so here you have an issue of good old Animedia, magazine, and it's from 1988, and this is the July 7th or July issue, from 1988, and I'm just going to go through it here and just sort of give you sort of an indication of some of the things I would have done with it, so I'm going to flip on this camera here. Okay, so you look on the magazine and that kind of stuff, and immediately I would have looked at all the various different titles and that kind of stuff to see what there's on it. And I see the covers clearly Apple from Zillion, and so I thought, okay, all right, yeah, that's a nice cover for that. So immediately when I flip open the magazine, I quickly go over some of the ads I see here, and I'm going, okay, this looks kind of interesting. Okay, so what's going on here? Okay, So the first thing I see right away is 5-star stories. And I know 5-star stories is usually covered in New Type magazine because it's a big sponsor of that kind of thing. But the first thing I kind of going, what is it? Second album. So I'm thinking, okay, what is it? CD, kind of drama or something? And then all of a sudden I see this. Okay, hey, this is like some sort of music, because usually when you see a name associated with that, then I'm thinking, okay, it's got to be a CD with an artist or something. And then all of a sudden, single. Okay, so for an anime that's not even out yet, like 5-star stories, the movie isn't out at this time. It's just coming out in manga form. I'm going, wow, they've actually made some sort of musical kind of thing for it. Okay, so all of a sudden, I'm kind of interested to see what this thing is. It's some sort of like music CD or something for 5-star stories. Okay, which is that piqued my interest a little bit there. But the more important thing that I spotted is this one right over here. Okay, so at this time I would have been going through different anime tapes and that kind of stuff, and then I remember this particular one is one of the sort of random sort of anime episodes I got from my friend Asa. Now, if you remember, I told you from before, Asa was the friend that had had a friend in Japan who played hockey, and Yoshi would send Asa tapes of anime in exchange for tapes of the Vancouver Canuck games that hockey sent back to him. And again, you got to remember, we're in an era of where Japan probably has no publications or no broadcast of NHL games in any form, and on either on satellite or on TV or on the radio or not. So they would not know whether or not the Canucks had won the game from yesterday, or from the game last month, or from the game last year, for that matter. They have no idea, because no one cares about what hockey is over there. So he wouldn't know. Okay, just like us, no one would care about little insignificant animes over there, unless someone, like I said, literally had to record the episode on a video cassette and then send that episode over here so that one of us could actually see it. Okay, so here we have something I spotted, and I'm going, I recognize that. That's Sakigate Otojuko. Okay, that is that weird Fist of the North Star looking school anime, right? Without actually really knowing the name of it, that's basically the way I had to describe it. It's like it has those Fist of the North Star Hokuno no Ken looking like guys, JoJo Bizarre Adventure looking like guys, except they're going to school somewhere. Okay, and so it's like, wow, and it's like, okay, hey, they're giving CD information, so that means it's probably got the song or the soundtrack, right? Because I remember when I was listening to that, it's like, the music for that opening theme song is awesome. I really like that, the really deep bass and on that, really like it. And all of a sudden I see this information. It's got a CD information, and it's even got the name Sepia on it, which I knew just from watching the opening theme song that was the artist or whatever they put the producer or something of it that was corresponding to that. So I thought, okay, time for me to order that and take that information back to the bookstore and let's get it. Sure enough, okay, so there we go. That's the CD for Sakigate Otojuko. Okay, and again, very Fist of the North Star looking like characters and that kind of stuff, and the wacky principal there, and yeah. So I thought, okay, hey, great. And you're right. When I put it in right away, you can see that the information for track 1 is Sepia doing the opening theme song, and so that was really exciting for me. That I was able to just from a glancing of that episode that I saw from one of Yoshi's tapes that he got sent over. I kind of didn't really get much into the series because we didn't get very many episodes of it, but that one song really captured me. And all of a sudden, with this ad, I realized, hey, I can get the rest of that, like that whole song complete with this one CD here. So again, that's my experience of finding Sakigate Otojuko out of this small little ad that's in this magazine. Okay, so that's it. So that's my Sakigate Otojuko story. in a nutshell. And again, you can go through the rest of the magazine and just see other stuff like this, like big article on Bubblegum Crisis, Vampire Princess Muse, more like that kind of stuff, and and you keep going on and on, throughout the show. This kind of page is always kind of cool. This is basically they're celebrating the 7th anniversary of the magazine, and there's like 1,000 different prizes and that kind of stuff. Of course, we can't actually get any of these, any autograph stuff or whatever. But it's kind of neat to see some of the stuff that you can get. Like, these are all at that time, Saint Seiya was really cool for me because, like, the whole entire, gold armor and the whole Zodiac thing, I'm a Gemini, so, I thought, hey, this is pretty cool. A gold Gemini armor in an action figure type of thing. So that's kind of really neat. And then, of course, in the previous episode when I was talking about Ronin Warriors, right? Here you go. These guys are giving away Ronin Warrior guys, and I'm not even sure what these things are. They're cards and look like cards or telephone cards or pamphlets or something. But yeah, these guys are giving them away too. And but that's kind of cool, right? They're giving this kind of stuff in the way that, of course, there's a lot more Saint Seiya stuff, and then Saint Seiya stuff looks cooler than Ronin Warrior stuff. But whatever. That's probably why it didn't work cool. But anyway, so and that's what these magazines are will uncover for you, right? Amongst many other things. Here's Pat Labor Volume 2. That would have been really important for me because I was at that time collecting Pat Labor and getting ready to subtitle that one after we did Maison Akaku. That was a really big major thing for us too. So okay, so that's an example of what from this particular Animedia magazine. Okay. Now, sometimes it's not always just like a full magazine or something, right? Sometimes these magazines come with little inserts or little pamphlets or little flyer sheets or whatever. Okay, and they come up with some information about that stuff that maybe like a full magazine wouldn't have, or seemed rather insignificant, but because you spotted it, you kind of go, well, wait a minute, this doesn't look right or doesn't seem right. So you kind of need to look at it in detail. So my next example is this little thing here, and I'll just kind of punch it up here on the screen here. Okay, it's from a Gamist magazine. Okay, so Gamist is usually known for a lot of SNK games and a lot of video sort of good games coming from PCs and that kind of stuff, right? But this thing is basically, as you can read it here, the video game AV catalog, the perfect catalog for 1994. Okay, and it goes 297 CDs and 112 different videos. Okay, and that's it. Okay, well, yeah, that's kind of cool. And then you even see like a video cassette right here, for Super Street Fighter 2 on video cassette. And then going, well, that's kind of neat. All right, so piques my excitement. So basically, I'm going through the magazine, and you can see it's basically a listing of a whole bunch of different videos and CDs and that kind of stuff. Here's, for example, the Street Fighter section, and I can see all these different Street Fighter CDs here, and some of them are pretty interesting. There's even some CD singles and that kind of stuff on the side here. I've done a previous episodes where I've gone over talking about different mixes and that kind of stuff for Street Fighter and that kind of, even some CD singles and that kind of stuff right here for Street Fighter. But I'll get that in a later episode if you want me to do more detailed on that one, because Street Fighter was one of my favorite games growing up on the Sega Genesis and Super Nintendo era. Even on the PC Engine with the arcade card, that was very a big era of a lot of our lives at that time. Anyway, so what I wanted to go over in this one is, as I'm flipping through all the different sort of CDs and DVDs and that kind of stuff, and looking at all the different game soundtracks and whatnot, I come across this one. Okay, and again, this is just where my Japanese isn't really great, but I can just see enough of it that I kind of go, well, what the heck is this? Twin B Paradise. And I'm going, okay. Like I know Twin B is like a shooting game, like a vertical scrolling shooting game, right? And I see 1, 2, 3, volume 1, volume 2, volume 3, I flip to the next page. There's a volume 4, volume 5, volume 6. I'm going, what the heck? I mean, it's a shooting game. I mean, how can it have that much like stuff? Like it's it doesn't really make any sense. And I know I've played a little bit of it, and I thought it was all right, and I thought, okay, this is kind of bizarre. Okay, so let's without, of course, this one is ones where without even asking Dice Gear or that kind of stuff, I said, okay, what is exactly going on here? What is this? I said, okay, hey, I see the code number. I see it's a CD. What the hell? I'm just gonna go and order it in. So basically, I ordered it in, and then in comes all the different types of Twin B, Paradise 3s, and whatnot. Okay, different CDs and that kind of that kind of stuff for Twin B. Okay, and okay, for the most part they were all dramas. Okay, so again, these are one of these purchases that you look at the price on the CDs, they're about 3,000 yen, so about $30 US, and they all come in, and they're virtually all dramas, okay? And sure, there's an odd remix soundtrack and a little bit of arranged sound on them, a little bit, but for the most part, they're all virtually dramas, okay? Now that's totally lost on me, of course, and maybe if someone was really, really, pressed on it, maybe I'll get a translation some year and someday, or maybe we'll have to wait till the Universal Translator comes out before I can get one. But no one's to say that this is one of those purchases where yep, this is pretty a pretty expensive thing to do, and to find out they're all dramas. But as I said, this is one of these learning things that you have to do when you go through and you find something that sparks your interest, and you need to find information. Again, back in the day, we couldn't really do that because just there wasn't the ability to go and search in Google or whatever to find out what these things are and what they actually contain, right? So you just kind of have to see what's actually in these things, and or just kind of order it in to find out, right? So they come in a pretty deluxe box. I'll just kind of open one of them, just sort of just to sort of give you an idea that what these sort of things come in. So open it up here, and okay, so it actually has a nice little buffering box, okay, which contains a little thing like this. Okay, so when you look at the box, okay, there's a hole in the box, okay, as you can see, like that, okay, and then this insert card fits into the hole, so it shows the CD single in the hole. So when you open it up, okay, this little thing pops out, okay, to reveal a little, oops, where's it here? There you go. Mini CD, okay. So every one of these, as you can see, has its own mini CD, okay, which is something that at the time I wasn't aware that that's what they're doing, right? So that's kind of cool. So it has, every CD has its own little mini CD of stuff, okay. And then of course the actual CD itself, okay, has a full CD soundtrack of stuff on there, okay. And of course the pamphlet, which is all full of track listing kind of information and whatnot from the actual game and that kind of stuff for there, okay. And then this particular one, okay, has a cool fold-out poster. And again, we're in the era of modern music where no one buys CDs and no one buys laserdiscs. But you see these little, shall we say, gifts, these little cool things that come inside these things as shall I say, gifts, or as first run kind of things, make it really worthwhile to buy these things when you get them. Again, on the back of it, it literally has one of those kind of news flyer type things that come out, which tells you more about different articles. More about Twin B, more about the people, the directors, and even some little fan art and that kind of stuff around here. And so it's really kind of cool when you get these sort of things. In addition to just the fact that it comes with a CD and that kind of stuff, and I have no idea what they're talking about, but. Anyway, so that just gives you an indication of what this experience of learning about Twin B is all about. Okay, so that was Twin B. Okay, so I got one more that I probably want to get into, and I'll just kind of go over really kind of quickly. And I was kind of already sort of told to you guys about it, but I just want to reiterate the experience. Okay, how maybe something that maybe what you guys would probably encounter. Okay, so. Something that you might be a little more familiar with, or possibly a story that would happen to one of you guys, is so maybe you might find this magazine here, monthly magazine for game freaks. Okay, and it's a PC Engine magazine. Okay, so not a lot of people had PC Engine magazines back in the day. So it's okay. I mean it happens, right? A lot of people went from Sega Genesis / Super Nintendo right up to PlayStation, right? They didn't really kind of go through the PC Engine route, okay? But this is 1993 June's issue, right? But PC Engine was a very, very important system because it was considered to be the anime gamers machine, right? So if you were an anime guy, PC Engine was going to be your system, right? And so, all right, so again, I'd be flipping through this magazine, and I'd see a whole bunch of the things that are very, very anime-like. Tengai Makio, all right, which is like really, a really cool RPG. You can see it was very, very well done. It looks very, very anime-ish, and it looks pretty cool. It even has some cosplay going on here. Talking with some of the creators and that kind of stuff. But that's kind of neat. Okay. Again, for those people who love Ys, they get a pretty good special on Ys 4 here. Introducing the characters of Otto and Lee. But so going on with the story. Telling you different various pictures and that stuff. Here's graduation, and I remember I said earlier how much I played this game and trying to manipulate the stats of the girls to try to get the girls to like me and all this other stuff, and then trying to get all these different endings where all the girls get married and hopefully one of them get married to you. That kind of thing. I said it in the previous video, but it's kind of neat that they have this kind of this kind of information. Trying to hopefully pour through this. And now one of the things that is really important about these kind of magazines, even if you didn't really play the game, it shows you pictures and that kind of stuff and things that might happen. Like for example, here she is in the S&M costume, right? And they're thinking, how do you get her in that, right? Like this is this is the other important thing about it. It's not like for example, like the internet. Okay, you can't just kind of if you're playing this game and you get stuck, you just can't go to YouTube and say, how do you do this part? And then they'll have some guy who plays it through and says, oh, okay, now I know how to get there. Now I know how to do it. You don't know how. See, in this sort of video era, you wouldn't have known how, right? You couldn't ask a friend, hey, I'm playing Final Fantasy VII. I'm stuck with that big stupid house in the arena. I can't beat it. You can't just ask them, say, well, do you know how to do it? And like, well, I don't know. Like half the people don't even play the game, so you wouldn't know either, right? So these magazines were invaluable to tell you how these things are done. So for example, if I wanted to get this picture or wanted to get that way, how would you do it? And then of course, the game would show you different screen caps and that kind of stuff for how to get there and how to get that particular thing. There's different events that sort of happened in this game, and so this would have told me how to get that sort of event and how to make it answer the different ways to get optimum results and that kind of stuff. So it's very, very important. Okay, but in addition to all this stuff, all of a sudden I would flip through this page and I would say, I'm looking at this and going, this looks extremely familiar. looks like I've played this game before. And again, if you were one of these people on the Sega Genesis and you've played a game called Warsong over here, all of a sudden you'd be really, really excited to see, wow, this is actually drawn really well. Okay, and again, through a little bit more research, you would find out that the artwork that's done here is done by Satoshi Ushihara, which again, he'll be later known for things like Plastic Little and and of course other questionable titles like Front Innocence. But don't check that one out too. But yeah, you'd want to basically look at this and go, hey, did they just remake this thing called Langrisser on the PC Engine, right? And then you sort of look at this, and then so now all of a sudden you would I'd start poring over this, going, hey, they got, I don't know, like, I'm not sure who these people are, but we would later find out that these are a Seiyu, right? Because on the PC Engine, it's done on a CD, right? So now they've now added voices to all the characters, where on the Sega Genesis you didn't, right? And so all of a sudden I'd be really excited, going, this is like this picture and this picture, they all look, especially like this one with the fighting and that kind of stuff, and going, this looks exactly like Warsong, right? So did they just redo Warsong on like the PC Engine, and they added all this great artwork and that kind of stuff? And then you flip the next page and say, oh yeah, I know him. Yeah, he's that Thorn guy, and here's Narm, and here's Albert, and this looks like her some sort of evolution tree. So it looks like they revamped her evolution tree too, and all this other stuff, right? So you're thinking, okay, now I know what to do with Narm, and different little tricks of the trade going on here, right? And different information that's about this particular character. Okay, and again, it's very important to know that these books were very, very valuable to us because of what the information they told us. Okay, now I said in a previous video, and especially on the one that I do for Langrisser. Langrisser is one of these really special cases that I like to call, and people always say, why do they call the PC Engine one of the systems for anime fans? Okay, well, not this particular issue, but they do have one of the a hidden code in Langrisser. Okay, so not like one of these bugs or hacks or cheats that you have to put into Warcraft or so. It's not like it's like one of these weird hacks that you'd have in like Counter-Strike or something where you have to upload it or anything. You gotta remember, these are on consoles, okay? So the game comes complete, all on the CD. You can't add anything else to it. There's no hooking up to a computer and adding code or whatever to it, or doing like weird patches or something to it. It's not like that, okay? This is a console. It comes complete together. So Langrisser, okay, has a special, what they refer to as a omake, or I like to always call it the otaku mode in the game. It's built into the game. It comes that way in the factory, and anyone who has the CD-ROM for Langrisser can do this. Okay, and it's I think I told it in a previous video, but basically you play the game through, get to level 20, you get the you finish the game, you get the rolling credits at the end of the game with the song for that thing. So that's another surprise on the PC Engine version of Langrisser. You get an ending theme song, okay, CD quality ending theme song. Anyway, so you wait till the credits clear and you get to the end. Right at the very, very end of the video, or at the end of the sequence, you do this key combination on your controller. Okay, it's basically you press the one key 100 times, and then you hit run, start, run, select, and 2 at the same time, and you reset the game to get back to the main menu. Okay, once you do that, and it goes all the way back to the beginning, and you start the game as you were to start level 1 again. But what it does in Zamaki Mode, okay, is the programmers at Messiah, okay, in this Zamaki Mode, decided to program themselves into the game. So basically, what they did is they replaced all the characters in Langrisser with themselves. Okay, so instead of Layden as the main character, okay, they replace him with the lead programmer, which is this guy. You'll see his icon. It's a guy wearing like nerd glasses and everything. And they replaced Chris with this big, cute chibi Chris icon, and they replaced Jessica with this, basically, holding a beer mug, being the perpetual drunk, and whole bunch of different things like that. And they even changed all the dialogue so that it's kind of really funny anime-ish like dialogue. For example, the level 4 is the slime level, and they basically have to walk through the forest in order to get the slime and get to the next city, and of course the slimes attack them. And so all of a sudden, but they of course in this game they made the slimes more like hentai tentacle monsters. And so basically, what happens is, of course, Narm gets attacked by the tentacle monsters, and then the lead programmer gets complains and goes, the dialogue goes something like, "Hey, I didn't program you guys to do that," and then of course the slimes answer back, "Heh heh 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 heh," and then the programmer goes, "Wait a minute. I didn't program you guys to speak either," and it says, "Well, that's what you thought." And then, of course, meanwhile, Narm's getting molested by the slimes, and so then that's how that level starts. So again, this is one of these kind of fun things that you would have found out, and you would never would have known unless you poured through these magazines and kind of spotted this kind of stuff. And then, as I would be playing Langrisser, I later found out all these extra little codes and little nuggets of information about the particular game. Everything from all the main characters have a hidden, for example, here Narm here, you can see her tree goes from 1 to 3 levels. Okay, so a 3-level tree. There later on would be a code, or not code, but like a hint sheet or cheat sheet, which shows that all the major characters, Layden, Narm, and Chris, and Jessica, all have a 4th hidden class at the end here, which allows them to go one more extra level. And in this case of Narm, she has a hidden ranger class at the end of her thing, which basically makes her gives her the highest attack strength of like any of the characters. Okay, she's got like an attack of like 50 or something like that, which is literally godlike in this game. Especially if she gets like the double axe, which is like a +7 -3. It's like ridiculous killing strength on that thing. But anyway, so that's one of these little things that you'll find out when you're playing these games that these magazines will help you with. Okay, and you would never would have known this unless you just go through the magazines and these things just to find these little nuggets of information that you wouldn't have never found going otherwise. And maybe yes, so this is my example using Langrisser, but I'm sure many of you would probably find the exact same secrets going through, let's say, a PlayStation magazine, and you'd find Final Fantasy VII. I know a lot of us played Final Fantasy 6 and 7, and maybe got stuck somewhere, didn't know what to do with the Cloud cosplay part, or how to get how to do the Cloud with the Anikis, and how to do all that kind of weird stuff. How did you know about it, and how would you do it, right? Is all in these magazines at this time, because again, there's no going to YouTube, there's no going to like Wikipedia to find this kind of information. There's no Reddit or anything like that to really that. I'm sure. I mean, there was like Usenet, okay, and recarts.anime or recarts.games or something like that. You might be able to find some information, but if because a lot of that stuff originated in North America, again, that information may be slow coming and maybe not known by a lot of people, and of course gets lost in the feed all the time, right? So that's why it's really important to that kind of information. Okay, so I hope you sort of understand and kind of enjoy this episode and kind of know where I'm coming from. So I'm coming from an angle of both excitement, curiosity, you know, a little bit of uh, the discovery, kind of openness, okay, and that kind of thing that I think in the modern day we don't really have anymore. We seem to think that because we have everything at our fingertips, all the information at our fingertips, that we seem to feel that we're up to date and we know what's going on. But in reality, we're probably being filtered and we're probably being narrowed down so that they want you to like these particular games or like these particular animes and watch only these ones and kind of don't look at anything else, and kind of shield you from finding and discovering different music, different games, different animes that you probably would never ever wanted to look at or even see, because they don't want you to see that. They don't want you to watch that. This is how the machine works. This is how the publishers want you to consume this kind of stuff. They don't want you to consume the independent stuff. They don't want you to consume the stuff that's not made by their company. Or they don't want you to look at old anime because they're not making any money off the old anime, or whatever happens their motive is. With this internet, filtering and that kind of stuff, and manipulation, you seem to lose that sort of thing. So going back to this sort of this period of discovery, this period of not knowing what there is out there and being able to go there and look at something with a fresh eye and saying, I've never seen this. I'd like to see what this is. I'd like to know what this is. It may be good, maybe bad. You don't know, but I'd like to find out what it is, right? And maybe something will come up with that. And it's better if you spend some time looking at this kind of stuff, and and that kind of stuff. Then I think that's exactly refreshing. And that was sort of that kind of feeling that we had back in the time. All right. So again, if you like the episode, go down below, click like and click subscribe, and we'll see you in the next episode when we do talk about more good stuff from the golden era of anime. Okay. So, till next time, see you again.